For more on this, research fellow from the Institute for National Security Studies, Sarah Fainberg, with me in studio. Sarah, thank you for your time. How historic is this address for an Israeli parliament member to be addressing the Russian plenary?
It is historic in the sense that it conveys a message of historical justice. Here we have a former prisoner of Zion speaking in front, in the higher house of the Russian parliament, and it conveys a strong sense of reparation to what was done to Soviet Jewry.
And why now?
Why now? First of all, it was a visit that was planned for a few months, and actually Russia and Israel embarked on a new form of communication, which is the inter-parliament communication. Last year, Matvienko, the head of the Russian Senate, visited Israel, and now we have the counterpart, Yulia Edelstein, visiting Moscow. But why now? Now we're situated at a specific juncture when Russia is transitioning slowly with all the regional stakeholders and the global stakeholders in Syria towards a slow and gradual partition of zones of influence on the Syrian front lines.
Right.
And we are some days, in a few days we will have the talks in Astana, the peace settlements talks in Astana, and Russia needs to deliver somehow some kind of political formula. In addition to this, Russia is located under very, very heavy political and financial pressure as the US economic sanctions have been extended and widened. The EU economic sanctions were extended today, and for Russia it's very important to receive guarantees from regional actors, Iran, Turkey, Israel, on what will be happening on the Syrian front line.
So what kind of solution does Israel offer then on the sanctions and around the conflict in Syria?
Israel doesn't offer solutions. Israel pushes forward red lines, because for Russia, Israel remains a free rider, a free electron that doesn't belong to the US international military coalition. It doesn't belong, of course, to the Russian Shiite military coalition. It means that at any moment it can enter the Syrian scene and spoil the entire Russian political game and military presence on the Syrian line. So it's very, very important for the Russians to obtain some kind of Israeli acquiescence or approbation of the Russian political settlement.
We remember he talked about perhaps Iran's backing of Hezbollah in Lebanon, as well as Hamas in the Gaza Strip. What here are Russia's interests? We know that Iran is an ally of Russia. So how does this play into the relationship then with Israel, especially in Syria?
With regards to Iran, Russia-Israel relations are very much compartmentalized. Russia is an ally of Iran with difficulties, with crises between the two countries, and Russia asserts itself as an ally of Israel. And by the way, the Iranians observe and monitor Yulia Edelstein being received as a hero with a lot of honor in Moscow. So Moscow is playing with all the regional actors in the region, and first of all, as a responsible potential peace broker in case of a military escalation between Israel and Hezbollah, and second, as the main, and in fact, the US are almost letting free hands to the Russians to do this, as the main peace negotiator on the Syrian scene.
And how does Russia balance that relationship then between Iran and Israel?
It does it with a lot of diplomatic arts and with a lot of political communication. What Russia says to both sides is it is first that it can be a peace broker, as I mentioned before, and it would be the only peace broker between Israel and Iran, because Russia is uniquely positioned by its strong diplomatic relations with both countries. Now, the US are not negotiating with Iran. Europe is not negotiating with Iran. So Russia is the only actor that is liable to do that.
Right. Sarah Fainberg from INSS, thank you so much for that insight and for being with us here on Debrief.